Diana Denmark here. I am back to do a bit more decluttering in our basement. I started yesterday, as I explained to you. We're having a new heating system put in and the men are coming soon, and I have to get this moved out the way, and I thought, it's a good chance to declutter. Instead of, I could have gone into panic mode and thought, oh, I don't want to deal with this, and I don't want people down here in my basement and all my clutter. But I've decided to take it, again, this like a blessing in disguise. Any chance for a declutter is good. So if you want to work along with me, come on down. I did one box yesterday. I'm going to grab these three because I think I can get them maybe into one box. Let's have a wee look. But anyway, we're just going to work for 15 minutes. So don't panic. I know a lot of you panic about the decluttering thing. It doesn't have to be scary, and if it is scary, I'm there to hold your hand. All we're doing is we're setting the timer for 15 minutes and we're working together. So that means that when the timer goes off, you get to stop, and we're just doing a small thing at the time. We're not doing the whole shelving unit and doing all the stuff. We're just dealing with one box or one shelf of the bookcase, or one kitchen drawer. That's all we're doing. So anyway, don't worry. Anyway, let me grab the boxes and let's go somewhere else where I can show you what is in those boxes. Right, got the timer going, and I have to put down on my errand day list to get a new timer, because this is one of my Flylady ones. I told you I dropped into the sink full of soapy water, and the numbers came back, but the beep hasn't come back. But anyway, I can see what the time counting down. That's the main thing. So I'll add that to my grocery list, errand day list for Thursday. Anyway, yesterday you saw me doing art supplies, and I've already got my bin set up here for recycling and for trash. I've got bags for giveaway, so I've got everything ready. It really makes such a difference by having those things ready, because it means that when you've sorted things out, you don't have to say, okay, now I need to put them all into a box and take them out to the cart. You've got it all kind of ready to go. So I've got, actually the box I emptied yesterday, I'm going to use that one for any kind of keep items. And this one is marked buttons. I know it's a huge box just for buttons. Anyway, let's open it up and see what is in here. Put that down there. And remember, we're just doing this together. You may be decluttering. Hold on, let me just sit on a cushion to bring me up a wee bit. There we are. You may be decluttering, kitchen stuff, or maybe doing something in your closet and your wardrobe. Okay, huge knitting needles. I do want to keep those because I've got a few knitting things. So those are a keeper. Pop them in here, and then I can see I had a small tub for buttons. And actually, we used to have a jar, a glass. Did your mum and dad have that? Like my mum and my granny as well had a glass jar where they'd put the buttons. And we actually had one that we used for crafts when my DD15, when she was smaller. And it was all like, fancy buttons, not just the ones that come off of men's shirts. And actually, when my DD15 was kind of too old to be doing those kind of crafts any longer, we gave those jar of buttons to, was it nursery or was it school? Anyway, they loved it. So that's the thing. If you're not using this kind of stuff, pass it on to somebody else who will enjoy it and can upcycle it, revamp it, Right, anyway, I've got all these buttons and patches for sewing on, and you know what, I'm not going to use any of these, but what I'm thinking is, if I take them all like we did before and put them in a jar, I know quite a few crafty ladies that can use these, because I can see basically what is in here are just basic shirt buttons, and you know what, the amount of times that I've actually had to sew on a button, let's say in the last year, I've probably done it twice, and normally it's a kind of generic button. So, and I have a little sewing basket that my granny gave to me when I first left home and moved to Luxembourg. So I have a few buttons in there, so I do not need to be keeping all of these extra buttons. Oh, I'll show you, here's, and they've, because, now you see, this is one of these things, when you have space in your apartment or in your house, you think, oh well, I've got the space to keep it, but do you really need it? And then often we think, oh well, there's too many buttons in here, so I need a bigger container. If I just have another container, things won't look so messy. You know what? When you start putting things into bigger containers, it means that you've got too much. Sorry, but that's the way it is. I mean, you've seen me in the kitchen. When I can't get my kitchen drawer closed, the one that's underneath the cooker, with the one that contains my what do you call them? Oh gosh, I'm forgetting all my English words today because I was speaking Danish with my besties this morning. When you know, for washing up the dishes, you know, my dish towels. That's the word. Dish towels and my little hand towels. When I can't close that drawer, it means, oops, there are too many things in there. And this is what's happened with me. I've put them in this box, and oh yes, I've labelled it. But I should have thought, you know what, I've got too many buttons and I never use them. And you can see in here, and I tell you what, I'll do this tonight. I'll just take them all out of the plastic bags. But a lot of them are quite nice and would be, you could use them for crafts. But a lot of them I'm never going to use again. So I will pass those buttons on to somebody else who can use them. So actually, basically, this container is only buttons. Yeah, okay, so that's a little job for when I'm watching an episode of Father Brown, one of my DVDs tonight. I'll just sit and take them out of the plastic bags, or maybe I should leave them because it's easier to see them. Yeah. And I'll give those to a friend who does crafts. So that's, go me. Getting a load, all of this will go in one fell swoop. So that's good. So I'll put that one to the side. Hold on, I'll just put it behind you. It's behind you. Okay, and I'll get on to my next pink box. So that's good. I've already got one pink box freed up because I have 4 of these. Right, oh dear. Okay, this one is called Ribbon. Look at the size of this box. Now, in here, as you might guess, we have a lot of ribbon. Now, I know it looks messy. Right, now remember, don't judge me because I know you probably have, I don't know, a collection of 500 plates that you've collected, or Wellington boots, or handbags, or knickknacks, or books that you bought and haven't actually read and never going to get around to reading. These ones, this is my ribbon collection, and I'm actually going to allow myself to keep all of these now. Why is that? That is because, do you see, I've got lots of lovely ribbon in here. I could do with a bit of organisation, you know. I could kind of, if I use the button box that I had there, let me grab that. What I will do is I'll take this and all the ribbon that is still in cards. I keep a lot of ribbon that comes off gifts and things. I'll put these in there and I'll make it a bit nicer. But I actually use these ribbons a lot. Now, when do I use the ribbons? It's obviously not to tie my hair because my hair isn't long enough. I'm not tying bows in my hair. But if you saw me doing the Flyladies getting ready for the holidays series, you know, getting ready for Christmas or getting ready for any celebration, you'll see that for wrapping paper, I don't buy, you know, christening paper or, you know, Christmas themed paper or new baby themed paper. What I do is I use some kind of generic paper, you know, white or with a kind of gold print, silver print. And then I, you know, jazz it up a bit by adding, you know, maybe red ribbon if it's Christmas, or yellow if it's something around Easter, or you know, green if it's a kind of birthday in the spring. So I'm in and out this box all the time. That's why it's such a mess. But actually this one I get to keep because I use it. Now, you saw with the buttons, I never use the buttons, so I'm getting rid of those. But these ones I use. And again, when I'm sitting in the evening watching an episode of Father Brown or Midsummer Murders or Miss Marple or Poirot, I'll just sit and I'll just have a little hygge moment, you know, I'll make it all hoogly for myself and I'll just be sitting there. So this one I'm going to keep. And you see, we're doing this decluttering thing, but it doesn't mean that you have to throw everything out. I get to keep some things, other things I can make the decision about. Okay, so this one is a keeper and something for me to go through when I'm having a little hygge moment in the evening. Right, and the last of the 4 boxes. Now here's a funny one that I labelled. Where is it? Bits and bobs. Okay, and what is bits and bobs? That's anything else that we were using for crafts. And it was just, okay, we just put it all in the box and put the lid on it, and if it can be in the box, that's all right. So anyway, let's have a wee look in here. So far I've got rid of all of the buttons. I'm keeping the big chunky knitting needles and my ribbons. So that's not bad. It's not bad. Gosh, and we've only been going, oh, we've still got some time left. Okay, bits and bobs. Right. Here we go. What is in bits and bobs? Well, we have some fuzzy felt that we bought. Somebody might like that. Okay, a lot of this is going to be giveaway to some of the crafty ladies that I know. So I'll just grab a bag. Because you see, if I have the bag already and I put them in there, then I can just hand them over. So, fuzzy felt, that can go. And then I have all these coloured feathers. Now those I'm going to keep. And again, I'm not going to stick them in my hair. That would be quite thoroughly modern Millie-ish. I'm keeping the feathers because in Denmark we have a tradition up to Easter when we send something called a gækkebrev. Anyway, I'll make a video about that when we get towards Easter. And you use feathers, and also in Sweden up to Easter they decorate outside the branches of, you know, if you've got plants outside your house with branches, you decorate with feathers. So I'm keeping the feathers. That's why these are actually quite new, and we always need those. Okay, these are gift tags. Yeah, I'm going to keep those. I will keep those with my supplies for wrapping presents, but they don't need to be in here. Something that, okay, this can go in the recycling. It was those days where we used to do little crafts with my daughter, and it was a little heart, and then you fill it with something, and a bit of lavender, and then she would give it to, you know, my mum as a Christmas present. You know, those easy crafts that you can make. Anyway, this has been sitting there for a long time. Time to let it go. Okay, and then I have some scraps. I got a bit squashed, but somebody might want those. You know, those old-fashioned scraps. More scraps. Remember those ones with the yeah, oh gosh. Okay, now I have some kind of, what's this? Oh, it's a kind of, not fuzzy felt, but it's a kind of foam. Like that. Somebody else will use it. Okay, that's for wrapping presents. A box that my daughter has, oh goodness, okay. Yeah. Isn't it funny what you find in boxes? And these are foam sticky letters and numbers. I'm going to keep these because sometimes when I'm making a card for somebody, or you know, like wrapping up a present and want to make it a bit fancy, we stick on, you know, the letters with the person's name. So I'm going to keep those. If I can get the box closed again. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got like a minute or so. I'm doing well, I'm doing well. So that's a keeper. Okay, this was for making some kind of Halloween mask. It was a disaster. That's going into plastic recycling. Also some craft clothes pegs and pipe cleaners. Nobody smokes a pipe, but they were quite good for making crafts. In fact, I'm thinking I'm going to give this to a family that I know. A plastic flower, I'm going to keep that because I might actually add that to my bike, because the pink flower that I've got on my bike is beginning to wilt a bit. If you've ever seen my pictures of me around Copenhagen with all the bikes that are here, you will know that, you know, it's just like a sea of black bikes. So I have a bright pink flower on my bike, and I'm going to add this one as well. Okay, these were all plastic. Why are we keeping? Oh, I know why we're keeping these plastic lids, because we're going to make some kind of shaker thing. You know, where you put something behind it and then you can put sequins inside and shake it. Okay, that's not going to happen. So out with those. Oh, more craft stuff. Crepe paper. Actually, I'll keep those because sometimes when we're having a party it's quite nice to use those. So crepe paper I shall keep, and I can maybe put that all in a smaller box. Oh, and ribbon. This is my ribbon supplies. And the rest is just a mishmash of lolly sticks and you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. Oh, I've got some more feathers, though. I'll keep those feathers. I'm going to bite the bullet on the rest of this box, because sometimes you're just going to say, you know what, enough is enough. I'll grab a few more of these which aren't already used. See, we used to do decoupage, you know, where you take a serviette, you know, a paper napkin, and take off the top layer and do it with podge, you know, the glue stuff. So we used to do a lot of that, but we haven't done it for years. Okay, and these I'll keep as well. And I think that is it. Yeah, the rest is just all bits, small bits and bobs that nobody would want, and old boxes for, you know, we would do the same thing. We would put a little motif on it and give them away. Anyway, I'm going to bite the bullet on the rest of this because it's just literally bits and bobs that nobody else would want. So that I will put out for recycling. Yeah, I can see we've been folding papers and... Right, enough is enough. Okay, so that can all go into recycling. I've got a bag of things to give to a family who will be doing some crafts. And I think what I've got left, because that's all going recycling, I think what I've got left is going to fit into one box. So do you remember in the first video, you saw there were 4 boxes behind me? I think I'm going to be down to 1 out of 4. Go me, can't get my arms down. Anyway, I'll stop it there because I'm going to set my timer for another 2 minutes and clear this stuff away, because when you've been decluttering, don't leave everything out. That's when it kind of kicks into us and we say, oh, you know, when we see it lying there the next day and you don't want to move it. Just set your timer for 2 minutes right now. Anything that is going to be a giveaway, get it ready at the door, or, you know, put it in the car, put it in your bike basket ready to hand over. Any recycling, straight out to the recycling bins, get rid of that. And these, the 4 boxes, I'll put them back next door, and then next time I'll work on something else. Right, so was that painful? Maybe a bit, but we did it, we got through it. Give yourself a wee pat on the back. Remember, don't focus on all the other boxes that you have to do. We're just doing 1 or 2 at a time, and we are getting there. We're putting one foot in front of the other, one item in the recycling as we go, and we will get there. Right, that's it for me. Diane in Denmark, live long and prosper. May the hygge be with you, and I shall see you very soon. Okay, bye for now.